I don't know what Tony's talking about. We were told that this war would last just a few weeks. Rumsfeld wouldn't plan for after the war. We were just going to go in there. A Jeffersonian democracy was going to emerge in Iraq. It was going to be a model for the whole Middle East. It would put pressure on the mullahs in Iran, and the moderates would take over there, which they would defund Hezbollah. That's what we were told. And now we're being told that, oh, of course, we're in the middle of the war now, and they respond to the sounds of the guns. What is that? Of course Afghanistan was the right thing to do, and the world was behind us. When we went into Iraq, we did it on false pretenses. This president misled us into a war, and it was a huge gamble, and he has lost, and the American people have lost. And the 2,700 men and women who have died there have lost, and their families have lost, and the 20,000 have been wounded have lost. And how dare you say this is just a complete re-spin of what was said before we went in there, and I resent it.
Well, look, Al. You should have been reading my columns, and then you'd understand things a little bit better. I wrote a column before the war in September.
I think I understand things perfectly well, Tony. I think it's you that don't understand things. And don't be patronizing like that, okay?
You told me you didn't understand what I was saying, so I was trying to explain it to you, Alan. If you'd like to.
No, that's okay. Try to explain it to me, because I'm a little thick here, okay. Tony. Because didn't you say didn't the president say that this is going to be over very soon? Weren't we going to be treated like liberators? Weren't we going to be greeted with sweets and flowers?
Let me talk for a second, Alan. I wrote a column in September of 2002 entitled "Measureless Peril," and I was quoting Henry Kissinger on why we were going to go into Iraq next spring, which we did. And it was to make a larger point. It wasn't exactly the argument Bush was making, because I didn't think that was the full argument, and I still don't think it was. We had to go in and make a presence in Iraq, in the Middle East, and build from there. I expected, and I wrote, and I described to my readers that there was going to be all kinds of danger, a lot of very powerful reaction to it, but it was going to be worth it. I still believe it's worth it, because we have to engage them and defeat their spirit. And by the way, this report, the national estimate here,
intelligence estimate, NIE. Let me explain that to you, Tony. It's called the National Intelligence Estimate.
If we beat them in Iraq, they will be dispirited. Now, that's the part of the quote that was not leaked to the New York Times, because the New York Times cherry-picked the quote.
Oh, well, speaking of cherry-picking, are you accusing the New York Times of cherry-picking and not accusing the Bush administration of cherry-picking? How about Dick Cheney leading into the war saying that there was no doubt? Hey, come on. Saying, let me explain something to you, Tony.